for years.
Okay.
It's a drill to see who's getting great get off. You can tell by who's able to catch up with the person that's in front of them and who's allowing somebody. Then you can see who's false stepping at the line of scrimmage with all of them in one line. So it's in order to show them who's capable of getting off the ball fast when you have off coverage and accelerating off the ball.
Even though it seems like a simple drill, like how important is that to run that drill, make sure they have their fundamentals going that way?
Well, that's the game. I mean, everybody gets excited about the spectacular catch where somebody's twisting and twerking and doing all that stuff to score a touchdown. But guess what? Most coaches don't teach that, okay? It's because they're excellent athletes, okay? All right, so you got to teach all the fundamental skills so then that way when they get out there, they rely on their fundamentals. When they're tired, when things are not going well, they tend to rely on those things rather than relying on just being able to make an acrobatic play. So that's the reason why you definitely got to start there. It's a progression teaching model, and what I do here, it's called stress spread takers. So we're breeding them to put stress on the defense. So it starts with their stance. So you'll see as I go through this, it starts with stance, releases, stems, breaks, departure from the breaks, all right, and then finally catching the football. So there's a progression to teaching them how to play the position, and it starts with their stance.
What kind of progress have you seen from your room from the spring until now?
Really none. At this point, we haven't played a game. So when we play a game, that's when we'll know if the progress really has become what we want it to be. Right now, it's just guys out there running plays, trying to figure out. We're not game planning anything. We're just throwing stuff against the wall. Well, not really throwing against the wall, but giving them concepts and whatnot to be able to execute and seeing who can execute those concepts. That's the reason why I don't worry about how many balls each guy's caught. I don't worry about it. Yeah, we track it, but I'm not worried about that because if the X catches the ball, then guess what? Whoever the starter is, that's going to be your ball when the game comes up, okay? All right, when the Z catches it, hey, I don't care who the Z is at that time. That's going to be your ball, whoever the starter is at Z. So, guys, just go out there and execute plays and show that you can operate in the offense at a high level.
How much do you throw at Ryan this early in his career?
And again, he's just like everybody else. Just throw him out there and see if he can execute plays. That's the thing. I'm looking at missed assignments, okay? That's what I'm focusing on. Do you not know what you're doing so the quarterback now is off his timing, all right? And for the concept, I want to make sure that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it at any point in the game. So I'm not worried about who it is, but I keep track of who's making the issues.
And when there's a play that Ryan doesn't do what he's supposed to do, how does he take your coaching in that situation?
Great. He is a phenomenal human being. Young man, legitimately takes hard coaching. Hey, you want to sit down and kind of talk through it with them and draw it up for him. You can coach that kid any kind of way that you want to, and he responds to it at a high level.
For a guy like Kendrick Law, Coach DeBoer talked about how he ran like 23.6 miles an hour this summer, bench presses 450. Does he kind of stand out just from a physicality and a versatility standpoint in your room?
Well, there's some other guys in the room that can run, and there's some other guys in the room who are strong and can do some high-level things, But physically, Law is somebody that looks very imposing, okay? And so I appreciate his physicality in practice, in all things that he does. I mean, he just has a knack for wanting to do that. I mean, before the spring game, he called me and said, hey, Coach, on the first play of the game, I want to crack. And he did. Went in and cracked the guy, and we got a huge run out of it. And so just proud of how he approaches everything that he does in his entire life. I mean, he's just a great human being.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Ryan and Caleb and some of the other guys, but what about some of the other younger receivers? You got Amari and Rico came in, but Bubba Hampton, who was here in the spring. What have you seen of those guys?
Very similar to the rest of them. I mean, they're all progressing along exactly how they should be. Hey, guess what? When you're a freshman, a lot of times you walk in the door and you don't know all the details of playing this position because you have just been better than little Johnny and little Kevin on the other side of the football who you could just run by and guess what, score touchdowns. Well, it ain't no Johnny and Kevin no more over here. It's Malachi Moore, okay? It's Damani Jackson. It's very elite players who you're going up against now. So you have to learn how to be a more skilled player than it is to just use your athleticism. All right, so that's what these guys are really coming to grips with right now. Hey, I need to learn the skill of playing the receiver position versus just relying on me just being more athletic than the man across from me.
How helpful has it been to have Jeremy come over from Washington and a guy who's been in the system and can help teach you?
Unbelievable. Huge help. He at times when we're not here in the summer and whatnot, pulling the guys and talking to them about the various details. And then when you walk in the room and they kind of know the verbiage and how you're saying it and why you're saying it so forcefully on certain things, I mean, I can't tell you how important he is to me being able to get these guys up to speed as quickly as we have. We've had very minimal MAs this fall camp so far, so compared to the spring. Obviously, new offense, putting it in for the first time. Hey, guess what, guys? Man, Jeremy, no. Now you got K-Law. I don't know if he has a missed assignment yet. You know, Jerm, he doesn't have one yet. You know, so that stuff helps when you got somebody, a veteran like that, who knows what the system looks like.
With K-Law and Jerm, they're both guys that can play at multiple spots. I mean, they've even lined up at running back at times. How much flexibility does that give you as a coach to maybe plug in people and kind of put this puzzle together in the preseason? Well,
that's the beauty of this offense that Coach DeBoer really put together. I mean, it's built in to have those